Welcome back to Twins Reviews, guys. My name is Z-Max, and with me I have Nax over here, and today we are going to be making the Roller Champions ball, and it's going to be acting as a lamp and will be like a display thing that we'll put in backgrounds of our videos. We're going to be working on this prop today as day one, and I'm going to quickly show you the idea, and then I'll go into a voiceover explaining it in a little bit more detail, but this is going to be our main ball. It's a plastic ornament. We bought some basketball style material, which will act as the main part of the ball, the black piece, which we'll need to paint it or something, spray paint. Then I made this in paint.net, and because I'm just a pro like that. So this is the logos that are going to go on the ball. Not quite sure how we're going to do that yet, but we'll figure it out. And we also have this poor excuse of a light source, which it doesn't give a lot of light, and we're going to be replacing it, but this is like a test. And it's not working.
In order to make the Roller Champions ball, we had to have a ball, but not any regular sized ball. It had to be small enough for someone to comfortably grip in one hand, so it couldn't be a basketball, but the ball did need to have a basketball-like texture. Also, the ball had to be transparent, but not any form of transparent. It needed to be translucent or foggy, so that the ball could give off a glow effect. But how will it give off a glow effect? Well, it needed a light source, but not any light source, one strong enough to distribute the light evenly. It also had to be attached in a way so that people could not see that there is any light source attached in the ball. This could be solved by wrapping a portion of the ball with a basketball-like material, which then needed to be painted black, and also need to have very specific logos on it. Our first order of business was to make a translucent ball. There were two ways of doing this: sanding our transparent ornament ball looking thing, or spray painting it white. We decided to try the sanding method first.
I'm gonna sand it so it makes it seem like I'm working, and then you can do it.
So sanding with our hands was actually pretty inefficient, so we decided to switch it up to a more motorized version. And this was much better. However, the effect was still non-desirable, so we had to actually sand both the inside and the outside for the effect to be pretty passable. However, it still had some scratches from the sanding, obviously, but it was decent.
So this is like the weakest lights that we have. We're gonna get stronger ones, but this is the worst that it can look like. That looks pretty good.
Damn! That looks good.
Wait, hold on. Let me change color. Ooh! Oh wow, that's...
Our second method was to use white paint to paint the inside of the ball.
Alright, so there's... Stop. Alright, so there's two different ways to do this. One way is with the sanding way, which is with this thing. You can just sand it, you know? And the other way is to paint it with white paint and then see if the light shines through. We decided to go with the paint way because we just feel like it looks better on the outside. You probably can't see it on the camera, but yeah, let's see how it looks with the lights off.
So this is the paint. Well, technically it's the primer, but it's pretty much just white spray paint. And this is the sand. You can't really, well, you can kind of see a difference.
It glows better on the paint.
It glows way better on the paint, way better.
Also on the outside, the paint looks a lot better because this is sand and you can see the marks.
This is the painted one, and this is the sanded one.
You can kind of see some of the, you know, outline from the sanding.
After painting the main ball white, our next step was to cut the basketball material to the appropriate size.
We're just measuring this material right here, trying to get it on the ball.
Alright.
But we already screwed it up once, as you can see.
You wanna show us what the material is? Can you bend it a little bit?
You were busy speaking in Spanish.
So that's the material.
It's basketball material, but it doesn't really feel like it.
In order to shape the material around our ball, we decided to use a heat gun instead of cutting it in some specific wacky shape, and the heat gun actually did an amazing job by forming the material around the ball. So this is just on our test ball we're testing it, but on the main ball that's what we're going to be doing once the material is already painted black.
Roller Champions 101, I'm going to show you two dodges. Discontinued and the current dodge. Dodge number 1. Oh! And then the dodge number 2. The jump?
So this portion was actually really hard because we went for a few ideas that didn't really work how we wanted it to. As you can see on the screen right now, we are displaying a bottle that we wanted to put inside the ball that was like the same size, and we wanted to wrap the LEDs around that, and we tried that, but it didn't really work. And the reason why we wanted to do that was because we didn't want the lights to be super close to the ball so that you could see the individual lights coming from there. So we wanted to kind of wrap it around in the middle, but it didn't really work. We then moved on to drilling the hole right there for the plug, and as you can see right there, this is still us attempting that method, which didn't end up working, so we scrapped it. But we did paint the bottle as well to kind of keep things consistent. This was our plan number 2. Our plan number 2, we had this foam ball, a football actually, and because it's foam, you could have it stick in the ball without moving pretty much, and it had a lot of surface area to put a lot of LEDs around. But that plan also didn't work because, well, it just didn't. The whole thing just fell through. So yeah, unfortunate really.
So while the guys are doing the LED stuff with the ball, I've actually been trying to do the letters right here. I'm gonna show you real quick. We tried a couple different ways of how to do this the best. First, we tried to paint, this is our test by the way, this is the real one. First, we tried to paint the whole thing black and then spray paint the white, but it didn't work. Then we tried to spray paint it white and then put the stuff on and then spray paint it black. That didn't really work. So now I'm trying these paints. I have miniature paints that I've had for a while. And I'm trying this method. I don't know if this is gonna be good, but yeah. All right, the grand reveal. Are the letters good? No. Oh my God.
Are you gonna draw this logo too?
Yeah. I don't know how I'm gonna do that. All right, guys, God knows what day it is of doing this, but we had to change a few things around. The LEDs did not work. As you can see, we tried to attach it to the hole right here, but there's some failed glue over there, but it didn't really work. The idea was that we wanted to unplug and be able to hold the ball without a wire dangling, but long story, it didn't really work. So we got a new thing. It's an RGB LED light bulb, and we bought a light bulb holder that just plugs into the wall, and it's really bright and can do all type of colors that we want. The one downside to this is obviously we won't be able to take out the wire, so there will always be a wire in there, but let's try this one.
Since the plug was much bigger, we had to pretty much make the hole that we made previously much bigger, and yeah, it turned out pretty good though.
Nice. It can now fit the thingy right there.
So after we hot glued the light bulb holder, this is how it looked like. It looked pretty great, honestly. The light was being distributed pretty evenly, and it was much stronger than the LEDs as well. The one downside was obviously the wire was always going to be there and it was not detachable, but honestly, it was looking much better.
So we just got the light bulb in with hot glue. So let's put this on and let's test it out.
Oh yeah.
Looks pretty good. Looks pretty good with this color, this color, this color. Looks pretty decent with all the colors, and this with the lights on. That looks pretty good.
That's
I think
fresh,
this is my
bro.
favorite. We got the...
Dang.
I'm not quite sure what this is.
Oh my God.
So I'm cutting out all of this. Even started on the little roller league part. Really not sure how I'm gonna do this, but the signature can be just not, I don't think I need a stencil for that. I might just freehand draw that. I think it's an Asha signature, I'm not sure. But yeah, been doing this for about an hour. Looking pretty good so far though.
And so it began. I actually am not using a stencil here, as you can see. What I ended up doing was I used the stencil to draw on the black piece of material right there, and I used a pen so that I could see the difference. and I pretty much freehanded this using the pen lines on the material, which worked much better because with the stencil, it was much harder to kind of see where my lines are, and some of the paint would just go outside of the stencil because of the nature of the material. It's bumpy and you can't always get the perfect line on there. It's not really paper, so that's why I did it that way. And unfortunately, I wasn't recording the whole thing because this took hours, and I did end up doing the logos as well, which took a long time, but honestly, I was pretty happy with the way they turned out. This was the final product. It looked pretty great. I actually did end up freestyling that signature. Pretty stoked on how it turned out, to be honest. I think the only other way that you would be able to do this would be to heat stamp this or something. So I think for what it's worth, this was very good, and I was very happy with the result. I mean, I don't know, what do you guys think? Our next step was to sew the material so that we could pull it over the ball. This was a fairly easy step, however, it is a little bit hard to sew through such thick material, such as like the basketball material that we have, so it took a little bit of playing around with, but we did it.
We put this thing together, so now it's all one piece, and we need to do it, but as you can see, it needs to be pretty, you know, what's the word? Tight, I guess. We might need a heat gun, but it looks like this might be working.
So we used a heat gun to go over the edges, and you have to be a little bit careful because if you apply too much heat, you get a little bit, it kind of melts the material. As you could see, we kind of messed up a little bit on the back, but it was looking pretty good. It did the job.
These are all the colors. Looking pretty good. My favorite is just the regular, because it's like kind of like the neutral ball. Looks really cool. So yeah, awesome.
To keep the color consistent on the ball, I actually just used the same spray paint that we used initially for the ball, and I just spray painted it into the cup and just dipped my paintbrush into that, so it actually worked pretty good. No skid marks, nothing like that. Everything worked well on the touch-up process.
Alright, now all the touch-ups are done. Now we just gotta put the trims on. That's it. Alright, so we went ahead and got these door edge guards. They're the things that we're going to be using for the trims. As you can see, they're black right here, and they kind of look like exactly how they should on the ball. And they have the 3M like adhesive on the back, so we're gonna go ahead and try to apply them to the edges of the ball.
Shout out my dad for actually doing this bit. It was actually fairly easy. Well, easy is not a really good word to use here, but you had to put in some concentration, but the adhesive applied very nicely to the ball. It stuck very well, and the effect was amazing. It couldn't have been better, honestly. These were the perfect choice.
Alright, so this is the completed version of the ball. As you can see, looks quite nice. Got the writing on the front right here. And the wire in the back. You want to show them the grand reveal?
Yeah, I gotta say that the trims make the ball look 100 times better. Give it a very nice look. And here is the grand reveal. Woo! Pretty cool. This is the standard color. Then it's got a few more different versions. Red. Oh, gotta aim it kind of down. There you go. Red, green, blue, orange. Another version of green. Another version of blue. Yellowish orange. I guess this is what the orange team would have. And then purple and pink.
And you can also make it fade. Let's see that. Kind of takes a while, but...
It's like a slow fade, which is pretty nice on videos. And yeah, that's pretty much it. We do want to make a stand for this, and we want to make it into a glove. So if you want to see a video of that, and drop your glove suggestions in the comments, what kind of glove you might want to see acting as a stand for this ball, then please do that. And that's pretty much it for the video. Thank you so much for watching Twins Reviews. My name was ZMax, this was Nax, and I'm going to leave you with a few cinematics of the ball.